Good morning and welcome to Homestead in the Woods. I am Catherine and I'm pretty excited about what I'm going to do today, and that is tap maple trees for the first time. So there's an art to this whole process of tapping maple trees and making maple syrup. You can also tap walnut trees, and that does deliver a different type of syrup. It's more of a butterscotch flavor syrup from what I understand, but we don't have any walnut trees on this property that I'm aware of anyway, so it's going to be maple trees. And there are three types of maple. There's sugar maple, silver maple, and red maple, and all of those can deliver sap that can be boiled down into syrup, but sugar maple is by far the most useful one for making syrup. So I'm going to be starting by measuring the trees to make sure that I am getting trees that are at least a minimum of 10 inches in diameter or approximately 32 inches of circumference, and I'll talk more about measuring here pretty quick. It's kind of hard to take a measuring stick and just measure across and be accurate on a tree like this, but I do have a trick that I am going to show you. We've got a cat joining us here this morning. Yeah, Romeo, do not knock my tripod over, dude. So the very first thing you want to do is make sure, first of all, that you've got a maple tree or a walnut tree. Oh, here comes another cat. And the easiest way to do that is have a piece of rope that doesn't have a whole lot of stretch to it and cut it 32 inches in length, and that will give you the minimum measurement of a tree that you can tap. So I'm going to see how it goes on this one. Romeo, do not knock my camera over, dude. So I'm going to be tapping right about at the 3-foot level, and this rope overlaps here. So this particular tree is not going to be good for tapping. It's too small. You need 10 inches across, or stop, dude. Stop. You need a 10 inches across tree, or, since that's hard to do, a minimum of 32 inches, 33 inches, something like that. So, and again, I'm going to give you the exact way to figure that out a little bit later. So I'm going to check out. Oh, dude, get away. I can't do anything without cats around here. Oh. All right, I'm going to check out a few other trees and I will get back to you. So one of the things I wanted to share with you as far as determining if something is a maple or not, and that has to do with the configuration of the twigs that are on the branches. Let me see if I can get... Oh, got some heavy equipment about to disrupt us. I'm going to try and get this close so that you can see it. If you can see right here, we've got a branch coming off here, and then there's two branches coming off of that, and they are across from each other. That's an indicator of a maple tree. Now this fell out of the tree, and so it got a lot of damage, so I can't show you a lot of them, but here is another one right here. So here's the main branch, and there's a twig coming off of here and another here. They are directly across from each other, coming off of the branch, so that indicates that you have a maple tree. All right, first thing I need to do is put a hole in the tree, and I will be drilling it. It's needs to be 1.5 to 2 inches the hole, so that it will take the spout that I'm going to put in there. So I've got my bit in the drill already, and I put a mark here so I would not go any deeper. This is just a piece of masking tape to make sure that I don't go any deeper into the tree. And I'm going to be going up at a little bit of an angle so that gravity wise it will be pulling the sap down into the bucket. I'm putting it on the south side of the tree it's a thought that that's going to be the warmer side of the tree, and so most likely that will be able to drain the best. Oh, I know. I've got a helper here. All right, best spot. Actually, I think I'm going to put it here, and then my bucket can sit right down here. Romeo, you're being a pest. No, dude, get away. This is a hard tree.
There she goes.
I've got the film running, but that's okay.
I'm looking for maples out front. I think I might have seen some other good ones.
Okay.
So after I'm done with Jan, we'll go see what I looked at.
Okay. Okay, I don't have this hole drilled completely, but I'm already seeing the sap coming out, so that is a really good sign. Oh, great. It's just not... Well, gotta retrieve my bit. Regrow up here. This tree is seriously hard. Tighten it. Oh. You want to try and drill this? You want to try and drill this?
Okay.
But I'm already getting sap dripping out of it, so that's a good sign.
Where?
Didn't know what I was being handed here. Okay.
Where?
Right there. You can see sap already coming. Okay. That looks good to me. Okay.
All right. I need a new battery.
Yeah, you want to find me one? Okay. This is very encouraging because I've already got sap flowing out of the hole. I've just got a nail here, and I'm going to get some of that stuff out of the hole. Some of that wood that got removed by the drill. So that's very encouraging. It's already flowing. Looking forward to getting some maple syrup. All right, this is the tap that I am using, and I just very carefully hammer it in. I don't want to hammer it directly with the hammer, so I'm just going to aim it downwards, and I've just got a little block of wood here, and that's going to help tap it into place. Actually, I think I need to reposition that a little bit. still help to be able to get my tubing in here. I think I'm going to put the tubing on next. And then I can hammer it in a little bit more. All right, I think I'm gonna move the tap. And get the tubing on first because it's being kind of ornery. It's the first time this tubing's been used, and so it's pretty stiff yet. You try to come out where it's quiet, and you got a piece to do your filming, and I've got heavy equipment behind me here, and the dog is barking in the distance, and my cats were already here bothering me, so we'll just do the best that we can here. So I'm just getting the tubing onto the tap, and then I'll work on getting that tap back in the tree. All right. Okay, I think that will about do it. Okay, got a 5-gallon bucket here. Find a good spot for it to sit. I've already got a hole drilled in the lid. And I want to get that on there firmly. Okay, here's my 5-gallon buckets. Again, if you're going to be doing this, you want to make sure that it is a food grade. It says so on the bucket. I have seen signs in stores that said that the bucket was food grade, but I picked it up and it did not say so. And then they looked at the information in their computer and they could not verify that it was food grade. So make sure it says so on the bucket to be sure. So there's the first one. All I did after getting the bucket with the hole in the lid, get it set up here straight and put the tubing down in it, and that is all I do. I'll be coming out once a day. We've got 3 days in the 40s, so I'll be coming out once a day to check on this. So I'll get one more going and show you how I do it, and then I need to continue on and catch up with the rest of the trees that need to be tapped. So you can kind of see where this is at, and got some woods here. We get a lot of foxes that go running through here, and of course raccoons and that kind of thing could be out and about this time of year, but there's a trail that goes all across here. We call it the Fox Trail because a lot of foxes do go through here. I think we're going to be adding kids to the background noise. I hear some kids close by running. We have a beach. You can probably see it from here. That's Lake Huron with all the ice on it, and I can hear some children running along on the beach. We do get people from all over walking on our beach, so it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to go back to tapping my trees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my tap ready with the spike. It's going to go in the tree. It's brand new tubing, so it's putting up a little bit of a fight getting it in there, but we'll make it. What I don't want to do is have it loose and then have one of my cats who's curious come along and start poking at it and have it come loose, and then the sap all go down to the ground. Like I already said, we have wild animals that come through here. I think it's still too early for the black bears to be out, but no matter how securely I do this, if a black bear were to get to it, it would have a bunch of syrup. It would certainly not hesitate to tear all of this out. Okay, I've got my tap in here ready to go. I'll get my next hole going. And thinking right about here should probably work. Got a new battery in here, by the way. The battery that was in this for the other tap kind of gave out. Okay, that was a lot easier. It's amazing the difference a full battery on your drill can make. Okay, I need my nail to clean out some of that wood debris. I'm already seeing sap, so that's exciting. This tubing is still pretty stiff. Yeah, that sap is really dripping out of that one. Ooh, let's get this in there and start capturing it. Yay. So this is the soft side of these trees. So that is, I have heard, the best location to put your taps in. The warmth from the sun just helps that sap flow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this spigot. Came off. All right, I'm going to get down on the bucket and then get it back on the tap real fast because it is running. All right. Very good. We should start getting some sap in here that we can see by tomorrow. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit more now and then go on and tap the other trees. Hi, Mr. Mowers. Hey, Mr. Romeo is going to help me do some sugar maple tree tapping today. Yes, you are. Oh, okay, maybe not. This is where I am hoping to be able to do my maple syrup boiling. We're trying to come up with a rocket stove type situation so I can boil that sap out here without putting up any other temporary things that are going to be ugly. This is our fire pit, so this makes the most sense to use this spot. And Dennis is working on getting this going for me.
So I'm not quite sure we can use the fire pit because even though it's got a nice, maybe 3-foot diameter here, by the time we start putting in 7-inch wide cinder blocks, it really consumes a lot of space. And with 7 inches wide, that's 14. We're down from 36 to about 22 inches here. And that's not even bringing the cinder block all the way to the end because you just can't put a square next to flush with an oval or a circle. So it doesn't seem to matter how I configure this, we're still going to end up with a real narrow firebox here. Now, I've got this one here as the one corner, but I can't fit another cinder block here. Cutting them is risky because I'm going to go through a lot of cinder blocks trying to cut exactly what I need here. So I'm just not convinced this is the place for boiling, or maybe cinder blocks aren't the answer. Now I've got a bunch of these. These are about 7.5, 8 inches square. They used to lie in a driveway. So they look familiar? So I've got about, maybe 40, 50 of these. Conceivably, I could make that a corner. That's about the size of half of a cinder block. And stack them up to here. And then we're going to go with another layer of cinder blocks, probably, up here. That gives me a firebox here, maybe 10, 12 inches wide by about 18, maybe 14. I'm still not sure that's going to be big enough.
Well,
by the time we put a grate down.
Yeah, how about if we, with a shovel or just a hand tool, really dug down up against where the rock opening is of the fire pit to get those cinder blocks as close as possible.
Well,
I mean, or is it?
I can take this out to here. I mean, I'm already dug up to the wall as much as possible. But still, since I have a curve here and the cinder blocks are square,
right,
I just can't go all the way here without some really complicated and fancy cuts with a saw blade I don't have. So homesteaders improvise. This I'm not crazy about being the answer, because this is only maybe 2 inches thick. I'm going to have to stack about 10 or 12 of those. That's really an unstable.
How about if we put them up on end instead? Would that make a difference? Ouch! Darn cat would just crawl on my leg.
Interesting idea. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we'd have to level it out, but I'm just wondering if that would work.
That. That
doesn't give much of a firebox.
I would like to have something twice this big because it's not going to hold much wood. I mean, we can try it, but I just think you do it right, you do it once, I mean, this is just going to, as you mentioned, it's going to be temporary. We're going to take this down every spring, so we can't get too fancy with it. It's trial and error at this point. I'm not sure. So the other option is find another place in the yard to stack these at the width that we want them.
Yeah.
And I don't like,
I know. Yeah. Where else in the yard do you want a bunch of
yeah,
burned
cinder
whatever?
blocks and you know, scorched earth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the cinder blocks won't be there. Again, that would be temporary, but we're just looking like, you know, for this year.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think we have to noodle on it a little more.
Okay. All right. I'm going back to tapping trees.
I'm going to go make some noodles.
Okay, you do that. Romeo behind you there will help you with them.
Oh, good.
He's probably going to try and pull out the hoses, the tubing from my taps. I have a feeling. I was checking out the one tree and he was climbing up the tree demanding that I rub his head right where I was going to tap it. So we'll see how that goes.
So we sit on the deck with a bunch of snowballs.
Oh, there you go. It is a beautiful day here in northern Michigan, up at the tip of the mitt, and you're looking out at Lake Huron. And this is what we have to look at today while we're out here working and trying to figure out how we're going to be boiling that sap that we're gathering. We've already determined that this is probably not going to work for making the fire and boiling the sap. The cat here has concurred with our conclusion, and so Dennis is in the process of finding another spot. This is one of the buckets and spouts that we tapped a day ago, and I'm going to put this close to see if you can actually hear it going, dripping in. And this other one, you can hear it. So that is very exciting. We got about, today we emptied for the first time from the 5 buckets that we had out. Let's see, 1, 2, yeah, we had 5 buckets out, 5 taps, and we got about 2.5 gallons of sap so far, so it's looking good. Okay, while Dennis is figuring out where we're going to actually be boiling this syrup up next week, I need to get a few more trees tapped. I believe this will make 10 total that we've got going right now. We did several more farther out into the woods this morning, and now we've got a couple more closer in overlooking the water. So my first thing I'm going to do is get a hole in the lid of this bucket. Oh, Romeo. All right. So this hole is just slightly bigger than the size of the tubing. You don't want it too small. You don't want it too tight. So that is about right. And now I'm going to change out the bit in the screwdriver and put the hole in the tree. Okay, I've got the drill already set into my cordless drill, and as I showed before, I've got a piece of tape here that shows the depth that I should be going with this drill. You don't want to go any deeper. You don't want it to be any less. That's about the right depth you want to go, and plus this is the exact size drill bit that goes with the spikes that I will be using to tap the tree. Okay, I'm going to go in fairly horizontally, but ever so slightly upward. And there's a lot of pulp that comes out. It's already starting to drip. I don't know if you can see that, but the sap is already flowing. It is really dripping quite well. That is just pouring out. I do need to clear out any of the tree pulp debris so that it doesn't clog my tap. It's a nice warm day today. Well, when I say warm, it's probably going to be about somewhere between 41 and 45, but that's great for tapping trees for syrup. Romeo, don't you dare touch that. Dude. I've already got the tap and the tube put in place. I can already see it dripping into the tube. That's crazy. So we're going to be getting, for tomorrow and the following day is going to be not coming out of the 20s. So this is the last warm day for a couple of days now. Get that in there nice and tight. I think that's good. So it's only going to be in the 20s tomorrow and the following day, but then we're going to get, wow, look at all that sap. My goodness, it's really flowing. So we'll get some sap from this today, and then there'll be 2 days where there's no sap because it will be the highs in the 20s, lows in the teens, and then we will be getting another flow of sap after that. We'll have another 3 days in the 40s and 50s. So I will be back after we've been able to harvest some more sap, and I'll show you the totals so far. This is pouring out of this tree again. I gave you a close-up of it a moment ago. It is just pouring out the sap. That's it. Ready to go. Got a cat coming to inspect my work. Romeo, don't knock that over, dude. So, yeah, we're getting a little sap running through here again. Romeo, do not knock that out. Let me give it a little more space here. I don't know, maybe that's not a good idea considering the cat is already harassing it. But this is a pretty firm ground, so it should be fine, especially after it gets a little sap down in the bucket. So we did already get 2.5 gallons roughly that we harvested from 5 tapped trees. That was this morning, and that was the very first time, or very first sap, so that was very exciting that we have been successful so far. Of course, it's not done until it's all boiled down until syrup. So in a couple of days, I will be back. We're going to get through the cold days that are coming up, and then I will be back. We'll get some more sap gathered from these buckets, and it'll probably be time to start boiling this down later next week. So I will see you then.
All right, so I think I found a better spot here. It's right behind this small firewood shelter that we use for wood for the fire pit, which is already in close source of the wood we'll be using to boil off. It's this firewood shed here is concealing the burn area here from the house because it's going to be
Ugly.
kind of an ugly cinder blocky eyesore, but I got an idea for that. It's going to be in the winter or early spring when we boil, so there'll be no threat or risk of fire with snow on the ground and everything cold. I just had to cut down the root here a little bit, but if this firebox looks like the right size to you, it's the width of one full cinder block. I can go another 7 inches by just changing the orientation if you need it to be bigger.
I think that's fine.
Okay, and then the opening will be right here. So we're going to have like about a 7 by 15 inch firebox.
Yeah,
We'll build it up you will do it two
layers. Yeah, two layers.
Okay.
And then then I'll have a grate, a heavy duty grate on top to put the pan on.
Okay. So I can start leveling here, and I think I'll fill the crevices, the holes in these cinder blocks with sand. That'll provide even more insulation because these are not fire brick, and they're going to crack with the intense heat. And I think I've already given up that these will probably be ruined after one good firing season. But maybe if I put sand in there, it'll provide some insulation that'll minimize the
Yeah, agreed.
cracking. But there's only one thing that's not right here, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't have any plaid cinder blocks. I looked, and I mean, this is just
if you don't have any plaid, how about some black and red check cinder blocks? You got any of those?
I'd settle for that. But I checked on Amazon, Etsy, everywhere. They're all sold out.
Oh. Well, it is the sugaring season, so
it's northern Michigan. You got to have plaid everything.
Well, yes.
So, anyways, well, now that I'm done noodling from the old pit to the new pit, we can noodle on how we're going to make this look more northern Michigan.
There you go. It's a plan.
All right, signing off.
So as far as storing this sap before it gets boiled down, it has got to be kept cold. And so I've got it here on the north side of the house, just kind of sitting in a snowbank. The sap that we have in there right now has a lot of ice crystals in it already, so it will be fine. It will go bad if it's allowed to be at room temperature for too long, so I don't really have room in my freezer or refrigerator for it, but with highs in the 20s for the next 2 days and sitting in the snowbank, it will be perfectly fine until we are able to gather some more sap and do hopefully just one boiling. But I have a feeling that it's going to require... Oh, there's Romeo again. I think that's going to require more than one boiling. But anyway, so that bucket is a 5-gallon bucket. It's halfway full of sap. So we're going to continue on gathering for several more days and then probably start the boiling next week.